realize that there will be an in-camera discussion at some point, but is there anything more you can tell us about this tax relief package for small business?
Nope.
Why?
Because nothing has changed. We continue to work hard on trying to figure out what we can do to target the aid to those who most need it. One thing that I've heard that's very interesting is that as we've been really focused on small business, it really has been pointed out to us that a lot of the very large property taxpayers are landlords, of course, that have a number of small businesses in their locations. So because of the way net leases work, the property taxes are flowed through. We would not capture all small businesses if we only looked at small business asset value, but as I've said before, this is devilishly complicated stuff.
Could that increase the overall price tag of this?
It might.
Significantly.
Don't know yet. But these are all the things that we are playing with at the moment.
We're still in line for some sort of...
Yeah, council overwhelmingly supported, I can't remember if it was unanimous or not, but overwhelmingly supported the need to be able to cushion people in this year who've been hit by the assessment shift. And I have not heard anything from my colleagues on council that would indicate they're softening on that.
So additional money, would that just be required to ensure that 5% level you've spoken about increases greater than?
Well, again, as I've said many times, the 15 million is enough to effectively, and that's an important word, effectively, because we can't actually cap it, but effectively cap small businesses at 5%. And what we really need to do is think about, as we've talked about before, whether our definition of small business is the correct one. Okay, thank you. He's going for it.
Other than the art, which we see up leading up against the wall here, how's the discussion going about the golf course? It seems like it's going a little slower than expected. But
No. I was a bit surprised it was already 3:15 because it's actually a good conversation. Lots of very respectful, thoughtful questions. The thing about this particular process, even if you read the letters from the neighbors who were opposed, they're really thoughtful letters. This has not been a, awful open houses, throw tomatoes, NIMBY kind of experience. Everyone is genuinely trying to figure out what the right answer is here. And I'm listening very, very carefully to try and figure out if I think what we've got on the table is the right compromise or not.
How far are you willing to budge?
Well, I'm always willing to budge.
I didn't say you aren't, but how far?
The real question is, I have some real questions myself around the water, around why we're moving forward on this before the water study is completed, around whether or not daylighting the creek is a real option, as well as around the green space. So we'll continue those conversations as we continue the public hearing.
With the wetlands, they've been rated at level 2 by the developer. Should the city be doing its own assessment of those wetlands?
That is a question I will also ask administration. Thanks.
How significant would you say the changes are in terms of the plan from where it was last July?
Oh, it's really different between July and now. It's not very common when we table something for it to come back with brand new bylaws and a recommendation to file the old ones. So it's really very different. And I do want to dig in a little bit with the developer over some of the procedural issues that we just heard, that they thought they had a plan and then a new plan came, and I want to try and figure out what happened there. But this is significantly different than what was there in July. And it was exactly the right decision of council to defer the conversation until now. I remember that was a very weird council day, but we finally got to the right place, I think.
Any chance of another table because of these unknowns?
Anything can happen.